Finishing off this Spanish horror triple pack from Vinegar Syndrome, we have The Vampire's Night Orgy, a title that gave me pause for thought. What the hell was I going to get with this one? Was it going to be some kind of weird sexual film? Was it going to be a straight up horror? We're thrown into a busload of travellers at the start here. They're heading in their destination when the driver has a heart attack, suddenly dies, and they find themselves unsure of what to do. So as one of the passengers takes the bus, they kind of have two choices. Do they travel 10 miles to the nearest town and look for help, or do they travel 100 odd miles and try and find sanctuary wherever they were heading? They decide to go for the small town, and they turn up in this abandoned town. It seems as they kind of move about, they realise that no one is here looking for any kind of help. It seems as though it's still populated, but they just can't see anyone. So they stay the night and wake up the next morning to find that everybody is suddenly back.
Last night, it seemed strange not to see anyone in the village. However, if you had come to a certain place, you would have found all of us.
They are all wanting to converse. They're happy to see visitors in their small town. It's a town surrounded by mountains, and they don't really get to see many people. So this is a joy to have the outside world come here. Of course, there's something just wrong here. You know what's going to happen. There's something strange. And as these people find themselves completely stranded in this town, they start to notice all the odd things that are going on.
But do you think they have a party in the cemetery every night?
To me, after all that money the pretty countess gave away, I'd be willing to go to a funeral every night.
How the countess seems to rule over this town with an iron fist, but seems extremely friendly to all the people that are here. This is one of those really kind of fun films that I really enjoyed. Although I knew exactly what was going on, it didn't matter because it still offered a lot of fun in this one as you're watching the various passengers from the bus being picked off, as there are moments where you're terrified for certain characters. There's a small girl that always seems to be looming in danger, playing with a young boy from the town, and you just feel like anything could happen. In fact, that leads to a incredible sequence later on, which was a real surprise and shock to me. I loved this. I loved the mood and the production values and the settings. I liked the characters. I liked the fact that it alludes very early on that this is a town full of vampires, and although they've got fresh meat in here, they're trying to keep them as fresh as possible and not take them all out at once. So they're having to feed them, but they don't know what to feed humans, and end up chopping limbs off various villagers to give them some sort of meat, which is an horrific idea, but it's one of a few great ideas that are included within this film that just make it a little bit step above the typical exploitation or typical vampire movies of the time. I love this kind of aspect. And it doesn't rely on reveals. You kind of get the idea of what's going on very early on in this one, and it's just watching the fun moments as the characters are oblivious to everything that's going on and walk into various traps that are quite apparent what they are, but nonetheless walk into them headfirst and find themselves in very sticky situations. I think The Vampire's Night Orgy may be my favourite from this set. It was a set that progressively got better from Curse of the Devil, where I thought I can see this set being sold pretty quickly, onto Demon Witch Child, which was good, onto The Vampire's Night Orgy, which I really enjoyed a lot. It's now become something that I'm going to keep in my collection, and although I may not watch the first movie, I would happily sit down and watch the next two. Again, not a problem. I would love to know your thoughts on the Vampire Night Orgy and this set as a whole. If you've got it, your thoughts on the films. Was there anything redeeming within this, or did you write them all off? Let me know in the comment box below and the reason why. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, and Man v Film. All ways in which you can support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.